Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to do a 1-year review of my Mahindra Roxor. So I've had this Roxor for approximately 1 year. So I got this in June of 2020. This is July 2021. So if you don't know anything about a Mahindra Roxor is sold in the United States, or it was sold in the United States as a UTV. It is imported. It is made by Mahindra, imported to a assembly plant in Michigan where they assemble it. I believe it's right outside of Detroit. But anyways, so they are sold as a side-by-side. As you can see, they clearly look like an older Jeep. I think they look pretty similar to a CJ7 minus some dimensions. The roll bar is a little taller, the door opening's a little bit different, and the hood. The main thing I noticed is the hood. So on a CJ, the hood comes all the way out to the fender. Here you got this lip right here. But anyways, I thought we would talk about my experiences with the Roxor and likes, dislikes, and would I buy it again? And you know, we'll go over some of the modifications I've made and some of the, I guess, drama or news, whatever you want to call it, surrounding the Roxor. So, anyways, like I said, I bought this in June 2020. I've had it 13 months. I've put roughly 2,600 miles on it. I drive it mostly in the summer, but I do drive it all year. Just depends on how cold it is, because as you can see, I do not have a cab. I use it on the farm pretty much every day. I use it either going to a farm, hauling stuff for the farm. Right now I've got a sprayer in the back of it. It's really good for that application. I use this machine a lot. It is perfect for a farm vehicle in my opinion. I had a Polaris Ranger. I really was worried that I would be missing the dump bed going forward, but so far not a huge deal. So things I like about the Roxor, I like that it has a full box frame. I like that it has a 2.5 liter diesel. I like that it has a 5-speed transmission and a manual transfer case. It's leaf sprung. I kind of like that because I like old stuff. I like old school things. Trade-off, it doesn't ride near as good as like my Polaris Ranger did, for example. Other things I like about it, I like the overall style of it. I like how it looks. I like the flat. I mean, I like basically everything about how they look. Now the paint, like you can get those in many different colors. Being that I bought this used, that's why I bought this color. Like I probably wouldn't have picked this color, but I like the color now. Other things I like about it, it is like a Swiss Army knife. You can add all sorts of crap to it. As you can see, mine is not stock. It's not even remotely stock anymore. Didn't need to do any of that stuff. I mean, it was perfectly capable of being a farm vehicle the way it was. I just enjoy it. I enjoy tinkering with it. I enjoy adding things to it, tweaking things, making things for it. So those are things I like about it. Some of the things I don't like about it would be, it is a little bit heavier than a regular side-by-side. I think it weighs 3,000 pounds, whereas my Ranger weighed like 1,100 pounds. So quite a bit heavier. Other than that, there's not really a lot. It just depends on, you got to know what you're getting with it. So if you're buying this thinking you're going to replace a Razor and you're going to do everything you did in your Razor, it's just a completely different animal. It's a different tool. It's a different vehicle. You're not going to be hitting jumps in this thing 60 miles an hour and landing and feeling good about it. You can probably hit them 60 miles an hour. It'll go 60 miles an hour. But when you land, yeah, you know, you're probably not going to like life all that well. But if you're wanting something to work on a farm, I mean, they're great. I compare this way more to a Jeep than I do a side-by-side because that's what it is. It's a vehicle. It's not a side-by-side. It's a fully box frame, solid axles. I mean, it's more like a vehicle. So I compare it to a vehicle. I was able to get mine street legal. I was pretty confident, like 100% confident I would be able to do that when I bought it. So that was a huge factor in my decision. Most of our farms, they are within 5 to 10 miles, and I drive this to all the farms. That was a huge factor, and it's really great for crop scouting. It's really great. I mean, the need for a little vehicle, it's greater than you would think, I guess. So I was pretty confident I'd be able to get mine street legal, and if you have a Roxor, and you're wondering how I got mine street legal in Ohio, there is a Facebook page called Street Legal Side-by-Sides Ohio, or Ohio Street Legal Side-by-Sides. Check there. It's a great resource for information. And then there's also one called just Street Legal Side-by-Sides on Facebook. Also another great source of information. The Ohio one is obviously based more on Ohio laws and you know how to get your side-by-side, any side-by-side, street legal. The other one is more of a national page. I mean, there's people from all over the country there. But anyways, I'm 100% confident wherever you are, you can get one of these street legal. It's just a matter of how you're going to do it, how much money is it going to cost you. So with mine being street legal, I absolutely love it. I use it all the time. So let's go over some of the modifications I've done. So when I first got it, first thing I did was I put I tuned the ECM. So let's pop the hood here. They have a 62 horsepower, 2.5 liter diesel engine. Heard some people say it's a tractor engine. I don't know if it is. I don't know if Mahindra uses this engine in cars in India, but Mahindra is a very big automotive manufacturer in India. So I don't know if this is just for the Roxor. In India, they have a version of this machine called the Thar. That is basically their Jeep Wrangler. It looks very similar to a Jeep Wrangler. Mahindra does have a right to use that design going all the way back to like 1946. So they are not copying it. They do own that design. But anyways, there's the engine. Here is your ECU right here. Just take that off, send it to a tuner. They can tune it for you. So this engine is pretty capable of supporting 200 horsepower from what I understand. You might have to intercool it. There is no intercooler. It does have a turbo though. So the 60 horsepower is very underpowered. Mine's tuned to 120. I don't know what it would dyno. It would probably dyno more like 100, but I mean, it's good. It's enough power to move this vehicle around really well. Going down the highway, you're not setting any speed records, but you can probably get 0 to 60 in like 8 to 10 seconds, I would say, which is fine. Like, I'm not driving this vehicle to do burnouts and set and rally race with it. I'm driving it for its intended purposes. So this has a Diesel Freak tune on it. If you have a Roxor, you're interested in a Roxor, I would highly recommend them or Calibrated Power. I've had both tunes. I originally had a Calibrated Power tune in here with a 5-position switch to change power settings. I do not recommend the power settings switch because once you put it in high tune, you'll never change it again. Save your money, just get the one tune from either one of those tuners. Had great luck with both of them. I do have the Diesel Freak now because Dad has a Roxor, and whenever he got the Diesel Freak tune, I kind of stole it from him. So, but both great tunes, both great companies, and they both seem to work really well. So after that, next thing I did was I put a hitch on it. Now, this is a hitch that I just had scrap metal laying around, and it's not pretty, but I mean, it does work. These things can pull like 3,500 pounds, or no, 1,500 pounds, I believe is what they're rated at. Maybe it's 3,500. Actually, you know what? Let's just check. So right in here, they have all the capacities. So 3,000 pounds. Where does it say what it can pull? It says the bed can only hold 350 pounds, but I think that's a suggestion. I guess it doesn't say the tow rating, but I want to say it's pretty good for, especially compared to other side-by-sides. So after that, the modifications that I did, I don't have anymore, but I put on different tires. They are different than these ones. And I also put on a Rough Country 2.5-inch leveling kit, raised the front end up. I did that so I could run a 32 to 33-inch tire. That worked well, but I eventually did upgrade the suspension, and when I did that, I started running a 35. But anyways, after the leveling kit, I put in these headlights. These are just cheap Amazon headlights. I think they're like 80 bucks. They're very bright LEDs. They're the kind of headlights that you get to finger a lot because they're very bright on the dim and bright setting. But they work great. They have a turn signal built into them. And then I went ahead and like kind of made my own turn signal. So the Roxor, it does come from the factory with a turn signal right back here, the bulb anyways. It's just not wired up. So with Dad's help, we were able to wire that thing up. We did some electrical testing. I'm not the greatest at that, but with Dad's help, we got it pretty, it took a couple hours, but we got it. The switch was like 20 bucks on Amazon. You had to get some kind of resistor or something, I believe. It was just like another 10 bucks, and then the headlights. So about 150 bucks on turn signals. So get a little bit of know-how. Very easy to get turn signals on this. Now it did come with the winch. That bumper used to be longer. I trimmed it. And then it also came with a windshield, a different one than I have now. It came with mirrors, but just not those ones. Came with that top and that radio. That radio is an MTX soundbar. I guess not really a radio. For some reason, it also had heat and AC, but no cab. So it does have heat and AC, which is kind of nice. But once I get a cab, it'll be even nicer. But anyways, back to the modifications. After the headlights, I didn't do a whole lot for a while. I just kind of left it like that. We got busy with fall harvest. But then over over some of the Black Friday sales, I bought some things. So got a set of rock sliders for it. I like them. I kind of miss my steps sometimes, especially now it's taller. And then I also got taillight guards. I just like the way those look. I don't know that they do a whole lot. I'm sure if I hit a tree hard enough, we're still going to pop the taillights. So inside the cab, I put a couple rocker switches. So I forgot I also put in chrome mollies with 30 spline axles, electric Eaton lockers, and 488 gearing. I have a paintless wiring system right there. That's just where I left my extra wires hanging down. And then with this metal dashboard, I kind of accessorize it as needed. Like these are just cup holders that are supposed to be bolted to this Smitty console, but I like them up there better. One thing about the Roxor, you have this brake kind of right in the way. So my Smitty console is for a CJ7. I just turned it backwards to give more clearance for that. And yeah, it works great. That's basically all the interior modifications I've made to this. It is very dirty in here, but this is how it's basically sitting all the time, because it gets used a lot. Let me think here. What else have we done here? Oh, I got a Diesel Freak windshield. Also get that on a Black Friday sale. It is vented, which is nice. Do get a nice breeze in there. The only thing I don't like about that, you also get water when it rains really hard. So if I get a cab, and I can use this windshield, I might seal it up. Like put some silicone in there or something. And just not really plan on using it anymore, but I'm still determining what cab I want, and that's going to dictate how I go forward with some of the options. The main thing that I just recently done was I took this Roxor to Maryland, to a place called Climax Outdoors, or Climax Off-Road, there we go. A guy named Max Anthony. He is a rock crawler. He races King of the Hammer. He also has a Roxor, and it is pretty awesome. Check him out on Instagram if you want to see him in action. He doesn't have a YouTube, but he does post on his Instagram. His Roxor has a long travel suspension kit using YJ Jeep springs, a couple other things he does to it to tweak it a little bit. And his is a little bit taller than mine, but I wanted that kind of setup. So I got a hold of him, worked out a deal, and that's what I got now. So I am running YJ springs, and by doing that, also got a longer travel. So basically the ride's more plush. I do have different shock absorbers. I have Bilstein 5100s in it now. I'm sure those help, but I already had Bilsteins. They were just a smaller shock. They just weren't for the long travel kit. When I did that though, that did open up the possibility to run 35-inch tires. I also, at the same time, put these flat fenders on the front of it. So that is a cut and weld job. I believe I have some clips from that, but my father-in-law, Jim, thanks for the help. He is a welder at where he works. He helped me weld those up. I probably could have welded them, but they would have warped a lot more. I make no claim to be a body man or a welder, but yeah, he helped me quite a bit. And then I had a buddy who's a painter. He matched them the best he could. I have a set for the back of it. I'm going to do sometime, probably the fall, winter. And then depending on how off the color is, we might repaint the whole Roxor. Let me know what kind of colors you like. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking either an OD green, the green that it already is, which, I like a flat color. So I'm thinking either OD green, desert tan, or like a, I don't know, call it gunmetal gray, or basically think of Eleanor on Going in 60 Seconds, but in a dull color. That's kind of what I'm thinking, if I do repaint it. If not, yeah, then we won't. I would like to put in some different seats. These seats kind of suck. I mapped a lot of fields in this thing on the farm with our ag leader systems, and after sitting in it for 6 or 7 hours, the seats are just terrible. So I started putting this lumbar cushion in there. That at least made it bearable for now. That's just a cheap $10 cushion off the Amazon. Oh, one other modification. I do have a 2.5-inch straight piped exhaust now. I guess it's not straight piped, it has a pass-through muffler, but much louder, much more turbo note with that. But yeah, that's all the modifications I've made. I would 100% buy this thing again. In fact, I recently tried to buy one on an auction. I just, I didn't want to pay what it went for. Or we'd have another one. So I love them. I really hope that they come back out. If you didn't know, shortly after I bought this one, Mahindra basically had to cease and desist. So ever since they started importing these in the United States in 2018, they have been being sued by Chrysler basically every year, and Chrysler actually won a lawsuit against them in 2020, which made them cease and desist. All new Roxors, I don't think any of them were sent back. I think what happened was a lot of dealers just bought them and then sold them as they could. But that has kind of made things a little questionable. That and COVID going on the same year, there was a lot of questions whether or not they would come back out with another Roxor. Latest word from Mahindra is that fall quarter or winter quarter of 2021, they will be coming out with something. I don't know that I believe them. I really hope so. It's going to be different. In that lawsuit, the main thing they lost for was trade dress, I believe is what the FCC called it. So they have to redesign this front hood. I don't think it has open fender or like a fender like it does now. I think it's the hood goes all the way across. They've got some leaked photos online. Kind of ugly, but the drivetrain's the same. So it should still be a pretty good vehicle as far as the drivetrain goes. Aesthetically, maybe not so much. But one thing that has also caused is just, it's been kind of hard to get parts. It's been kind of hard to get warranty work done because when they lost that lawsuit, I think they basically shut down, like down to just like the very upper management of Mahindra North America. People are starting to be able to get parts again. People are starting to be able to get their warranty work done again, but I put a lot of bad taste in some people's mouth, I know. There's several Facebook pages on the Mahindra Roxor. Seems like every day someone is selling theirs because they're scared of parts. Here's how I'm looking at it. If something goes out with my axle and I can't do anything, I can't get parts for it from Mahindra, I will either make something work or I will get another axle out of a junkyard. So if an engine blows, that one would be a little bit more painful, but if I had to, I'd put a different engine in it. You have a great frame, you have a great body, you have a great base for a vehicle. That's how I looked at it when I bought it. People say, why didn't you buy a CJ7 or why didn't you buy a CJ5 or just an old Jeep of some sort? This is a brand new CJ7 in my opinion. So that's how I was looking at it. I wasn't buying someone else's headaches. Wasn't buying how someone else cluttered all the wiring. Like, it was a fresh slate. And that's what I liked about it. If Mahindra or some other company made a 1969 Camaro look-alike, I would buy one in a heartbeat. Especially if it had a modern drivetrain and a fresh frame, you know? So that's how I looked at it. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing. I'm sure there is, but if you can't tell, I still really like my Roxor. No intentions of selling it. I do wish that they made one basically based off a CJ8, like a scrambler, with a longer bed. That would be awesome. That's probably my favorite Jeep is a CJ8. So that would be pretty cool, but you know, this thing works great. I do intend on getting a cab eventually, and then I will probably drive it all year round pretty regular. Kids love it. Do intend on putting a full roll cage in here as the kids are getting older. Olivia usually just sits on Kayla's lap if we're playing around here on the farm, but I am going to get a seat that they can all three be 3-point harness strapped in. So there's lots of aftermarket parts. There's lots of companies making seats and stuff like that. So yeah, that's probably my immediate plans is get a cab, get a full cage on it and a rear seat. And it'll probably be it for a while. I cannot make up my mind if I want to put a, either way I want a full cab. Like, I don't want a pickup style cab where you're just enclosed up front. I want the full cab. I can't make up my mind if I want the Roxor factory soft cab or if I want one of the aftermarket hard cabs. I'm really struggling with that decision. But one thing I am kind of curious about, like, I've seen these things at Farm Progress Show. That's where I first seen them at, and that's coming up. I'm curious if Mahindra will be there this year. I doubt it since they can't sell anything yet, but I don't know. We'll see. But thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget to thumbs up the video. If you need any merch, Brown Farms merch or Ariat merchandise of any sort, we do have links in the description. On the Ariat link, you'll get a discount code on the Brown Farms merch. You won't, but you'll be supporting the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.